Hello, everybody. Chris Wright Killer here, PAX East 2022, and we're with Zach here with Makercat Studios. How are you doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great, and today we're talking about WrestleQuest, your combination of wrestling and RPG.
That's right. Yeah. So it calls to mind this classic era of wrestling, the 80s and 90s, and also that classic era of RPGs, the 80s and the 90s. So there's a lot of lifeblood in there from Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, Earthbound, Super Mario RPG. And what our goal was to take that classic turn-based battle system, which I love, but after a while it might get a little bit stale. You feel like you're just on autopilot. We've added a ton of wrestling-based systems to punch it up the engagement, the interactivity, and really make you pay attention and focus and approach battles with some creativity.
Yes, I noticed in the story that Macho Man Randy Savage plays a role in this as well.
That's right, yeah, so we have real wrestling legends like Macho Man, we have Jake the Snake, Sergeant Slaughter, and these characters appear in the story as these statues, and they're kind of like these shrines, these monuments that people come from all over to pay homage and tribute to them. And each statue has a side quest based on that wrestler that if you complete, you get some of the game's best loot and rewards. For example, the Jake the Snake quest, at the end, you get the ability to summon Jake the Snake to battle. Some RPGs will let you summon a dragon or a monster or something. WrestleQuest, you can summon Jake the Snake to rip a DDT on your enemies.
Yes, and I noticed in the demo that we have like 2 playable characters for the storyline. What are those stories, and will they be intertwined with one another?
Certainly. There's actually a cast of 12 playable characters, and there's 2 major protagonists, right? So the first is Randy Santos, Macho Man, inspired by Macho Man. He's this kind of like starry-eyed, innocent guy, right? Where he exists in constant kayfabe, where he thinks wrestling is real. So his goal is to become a wrestling champion, a wrestling hero. And what happens is, as he gets deeper and deeper into the pro wrestling world, he starts to see all the ins and outs of the business, and he has to kind of make a decision of, can I become a champion without compromising myself? And that's sort of that childlike innocence. Can I become a hero on my own terms, or will this kind of break me? The other one, Brink Logan, on the other hand, the other major protagonist, he's very much aware of the ins and outs of the business. He's a mid-card jobber in his father's promotion. And the thing is he's a great wrestler, and he knows that in a shoot he can beat anyone, but he's happy to lose for now to put other people over to help out the family business. But deep down inside, he also wants to be a champion. So his journey is, how can I do that without letting anyone down? How can I do that without letting myself down, what I really want? So as they travel around, they'll eventually come to a head, and they're set up as rivals, and I don't want to give away any more than that, but each has these other characters that are attached to them that you'll explore their stories as well. Each one gets their own time in the spotlight. The thing about wrestling is it's not just about the action in the ring. It's really about the narrative and the story and the characters and the dramatic reveals, the betrayals, and everything else that happens. And of course, all that stuff is the lifeblood of RPGs, so putting the 2 together, it's a perfect combination.
Now, obviously, it's a tone-based RPG, but there's also been some wrestling mixed into it as well. Do you want to explain a little bit about the gameplay?
Certainly. So, we've added some basic things like time button presses during combat. So if you hit an enemy, they'll bounce into the ropes, and when they come back, there'll be a button press where if you hit it, you'll do a follow-up attack, but if you miss, they'll clothesline you. So it makes you pay attention. In addition, there's a meter called a height meter at the bottom of the screen, and this is kind of an indication of the audience's engagement with the fight. So if you're in there just spamming the attack button like in any other RPG, they'll start to get bored and the height meter will drain down. When that happens, your enemies get stronger. But if you come in and start showing some flashy moves and whatnot and pumping the crowd up, the height meter will fill, and then you'll get stronger, you'll do more damage, and you'll even get better rewards after combat. So it's all about putting on a good show for that audience.
And I also know that instead of taking them down to 0, you have to pan them down tightly for a few seconds.
Yeah, so most RPGs, you get them to 0 and that's it, they're out. But since this is wrestling, you got to go a step further and pin them. So after you reduce a wrestler to 0 HP, there's a pinning mini game where you kind of have to do some time button presses where if you miss one, he'll kick out and get up with some restored HP. And the same thing happens to you. If an enemy brings you down, you have this last oh no moment where you have a chance to kick out and come back. So it's just one more thing to keep you more engaged with the combat.
Okay, and how big is the world of WrestleQuest, and What do you think how long do you think it'll take for people to finish the game?
So again, it's a JRPG at its core. So we have this huge world map with a ton of towns. Each town has kind of their own homage to a different wrestling style. So there's like a hardcore, extreme style wrestling system. There's a lucha libre town. If you're playing just core story, you're looking at between I'd say like over 30 hours of content. And if you do all the side quests and everything, it's probably closer to 50.
Okay. And which platform can we expect WrestleQuest to come out on, and when is the expected release date?
So it'll be on PC and all major consoles, and we're targeting 2022.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time. I enjoyed the game a lot.
Enjoy PAX. Thank you.